You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Welcome to the inaugural Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival. It's all things coffee, culinary, and culture.
This coffee festival is absolutely phenomenal. It is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger every year.
We have some coffee product infusion with coffee fried dumpling, coffee bame. We have coffee rice and peas, roast fish.
I've been to festivals in other countries and it's world class. I like the quality, I like what I'm seeing.
Everything today was great and I'm looking forward to it for next year.
It's the inaugural Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival, and BATV is here to bring you highlights from day 2 of a 3-day event which is already off to a great start at promoting the world's best music, food and coffee right here in the cool hills of Newcastle in St. Andrew. I'm your host Andrew Laidley and I'll have the highlights, so stay with us. Much more after this.
Welcome to my constituency, Mikasa Sukasa. All right. Now, as you can see, this coffee festival is absolutely phenomenal. It is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger every year. We made sure that the roads, well, they told us the Queen was coming. They didn't realize it was the coffee festival that was coming. The roads are wonderful all the way up to red light. And by the time we come back here next year, we will have beautiful roads all the way to Newcastle to ensure that your experience is fabulous. Minister, I have to thank you. I have to thank the Ministry of Tourism for that particular insight in understanding that for the coffee farmers to do well, we have to move from just thinking about coffee as a drink. We have found the man who understands networking, tourism, and marketing a product that we want to move from just being our wonderful Blue Mountain coffee to the legendary Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee.
Coffee, as you know, is the second most consumed liquid on earth. More than 70 countries across the world utilize coffee for various applications. We in Jamaica seem to have locked ourselves into coffee for export. But there are so many other applications, economic value that we can derive from the use of coffee in so many forms. This morning I read that coffee, in fact, can make flour. So you can make coffee now, coffee cake, of course, which you all know about. But you can make your coffee cookies that you all know about. But now you can make coffee dumpling. The point we're making is that there are numerous other applications. It is now possible for us to create a huge coffee value chain and from it, the coffee cottage industries. So that exhibitions like these, which we're promoting, and we're doing it with a lot of energy, is not going to provide a showcase of coffee beverage and an opportunity for tasting and for the world to recognize, in fact, that we have the best coffee in the world. But it's also an opportunity for us to create a value chain that will bring jobs and more economic well-being to a larger number of our Jamaican people who are in the interior and who, because of where they live, lacking in urbanity as it exists, still have the opportunity to generate income and to stem the drift from the rural areas into the urban areas seeking jobs. So tourism is that centerpiece that drives jobs and inclusive growth. And part of what we're doing is to create a strategy that not only brings visitors to our shore, but to enable the expenditure from visitor arrivals to remain in the destination of Jamaica. Jamaica now has a retention of only 30 cents in the dollar, although that is 10 cents higher than the rest of the Caribbean, and only 20 cents below that of the highest performer in the region, the Dominican Republic. But we must build out that capability because that's how we're going to be wealthy from tourism. Finally, I want to say, located as we are here, and this Newcastle is a perfect place for it to be.
So I'm here with Adam Stewart. He's the chairman of the Tourism Linkages Network. Talk to me a little bit about the inaugural Blue Mountain Coffee Festival that's happening here today.
It's kind of hard to beat this, right? So we decided when we were going to do this, we're going to celebrate the best attributes of Jamaica, what Jamaica is naturally good at. You know, Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee is something that we almost take for granted in many instances. It's voted world's best as the highest grade coffee, celebrated all around the world. And what we wanted to do was find a way to expand the image of the Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee. So locally to Jamaican citizens, so we create more of a coffee culture in the country of Jamaica. To the purchasing teams in, you know, the network is a division of the Ministry of Tourism. So all of the purchasing divisions of the hotels across the country, so that we're getting Blue Mountain Coffee in the hands, whether it's in the suitcases in the exported coffee that they take home, or they're tasting it in the hotels themselves. The idea was to put on a festival that everybody could come to. I have about 50 people here from Sandals, and it's amazing. Every single one of my team members that I've asked so far, if they've been up here to the JDF camp up in the Blue Mountains, not one has said yes. So we live in Jamaica. There are things about Jamaica that we don't even explore as yet, and they're having the time of their life. So you have the vendors here showcasing all of their products: coffee scrubs, coffee candles, coffee infused products that you put on your skin, the actual coffee cakes. We had a coffee dumpling a while ago, a flour dumpling, coffee rice and peas. I never seen that yet in my life. And these are wares that the ultimate goal here is that people are trading, people are selling, our visitors are feeling it. So we get them into the hotel, they enjoy it, they go back home, they go on the website, and we just start exporting products out of Jamaica in a way that, you know, we think of coffee as just a drink, but it is so much more than a drink and can become so much more than a drink.
Now, I know that outside of your role as chairman in the Linkages Network, you are also a member of the private sector here in Jamaica. How important would you say it is that private sector members come on to projects like this and really encourage it?
Well, private sector is what drives the economy, and that's what we have to remember, right? So the government puts a framework around policy, but it is actually the private sector trading that, you know, gets the economic dollars turning, spins off the taxation, which, you know, allows us to do all of our infrastructure and investments for the country. So, you know, without private sector, there are no economics. Without economics, people can't afford to live, and they can't afford to, you know, to rise to the prosperity that we're trying, all of us in our own way, to get Jamaica to rise and matriculate to a higher standard of living. So, you know, the message here today is simply trade, do business, formalize yourself into the tax net for sure, and just get business flowing in a way that people naturally fall in love. The interesting thing is that the product that it is that we're talking about is something people naturally love when they're exposed to it. Either whether they're drinking the coffee, or they're putting the scrubs on themselves, or you're smelling the candles. These are all things that immediately you look at somebody's face and you don't have to sell it to them. They love it as it is. So we're just showcasing it, marketing it, and then hopefully trade comes behind that.
We take a break and come back with much more from the inaugural Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival. Stay with us.
Home is where all the sweetness, silliness, and beauty of life happens. Discover your style and express yourself with furniture from the Ashley Furniture Home Store. Visit any of our 2 locations at Ligony Kingston or Fairview Montego Bay. Find the most exquisite range of furniture in varying styles to suit your needs. So tell your story with elegant and affordable lounge, bedroom, dining pieces, and more from the Ashley Furniture Home Store. Here at Ashley, this is home.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On Point with Kalila Reynolds and Dennis Chung, dissecting the issues, offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Now here's more highlights from the inaugural Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival. I'm now joined by Minister of Tourism, Edmund Bartlett. Minister, it's the inaugural Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival. Talk to me about the plans that went into this festival.
Well, first of all, the notion of a coffee festival flows from the fact of utilizing our cultural assets as a means to drive visitor arrivals into our country. But it also goes to a deeper value of bringing to the forefront of the consciousness of all of us as Jamaicans the power and the value of these cultural assets and the extent to which we have not been utilizing them sufficiently to bring economic value to ourselves and to cause the prosperity to come. And so this festival is therefore an intention for us to celebrate all things coffee, for us to look at what coffee is really capable of doing, the deep and wide value chain of coffee, that it is not just an export crop, a commodity for value added to be attached to another country somewhere else, but that it is a part of an asset with enormous capability for spin-offs. That there are so many applications to coffee that if we get it right, we can develop a whole industry around coffee.
Minister, I understand that the government has started an Eat Jamaica campaign. Talk to me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, well, you know, the Eat Jamaica campaign has been on and on and on and on. And we have to do something more practical, like producing enough to be able to eat. But part of what we need to also do is to change our consumption patterns. Because Jamaica's staple is still imported goods, rice and flour and grains. So we need to look seriously at our consumption patterns, because that's a big way in which Eat Jamaica is going to be truly meaningful, is when we are having a taste for Jamaican goods and Jamaican assets.
Minister, I want to talk to you a little bit about what happened last year with Jamaica losing what was regarded as one of its major trading partners. I believe it was Japan. Are we shoring up the sector now by having a festival like this?
Well, no. Well, look, the global market has changed, and we have to respond to it. And one of the things that keeps you on the cutting edge is nimbleness and adaptable. You have to be adaptive, because the market is going to change because it's a function of human action. And so we have to be always doing more with what we have so that we can be ahead of the curve every time there's a change. So now we need to look at how we can make coffee far more effective on the market for us, not just now as beans that we produce for another country to process, but how do we do the conversion ourselves and then to enable the other applications which will deepen and broaden the value chain.
Talk to me about some of the preparation that went into this.
Well, it was quite exciting to have this. You know, we really wanted to have it here in the Blue Mountain, so we partnered with Newcastle. I mean, it's quintessential Blue Mountain. We work with all the partners, both those on the other side close to the Gordon Town as well as those on the Newcastle side, and really just decided to showcase everything coffee, but also to celebrate everything that is the Blue Mountain. So, you know, we have great cafes and restaurants and bars all along the way, but we also have some great attractions. So we're combining everything. We have very good culinary experiences. We have some really great restaurants, and we've brought everything into one place and everyone can experience it. The beauty of the views of the Newcastle, but also the history of the Newcastle, and then putting everything together so that persons can really have a fantastic time.
Now, I know that the government is placing greater emphasis on gastronomy. What can we expect out of the gastronomy tourism area come this year?
Well, definitely, you know, we have launched our Taste Jamaica website and app, and we're going to continue to partner with other persons in terms of raising our food festivals to the next level. We'll be looking at opening up other gastronomy centers, as we had Devon House as our first across the island. So it's an ongoing project, but most importantly, it's education, letting Jamaicans understand the wide length and breadth of gastronomy tourism and how they can capitalize on that using indigenous Jamaican products and making really good tourism experiences, not only for overseas visitors, but for locals who are here on the island. Because, you know, you're still a tourist if you move from one area of the island. So we want to make sure that everybody experiences everything fantastic about our cuisine at all levels, and to excite persons to create new and different and exciting Jamaican products.
I'm now joined by a coffee farmer, Mr. Mervyn Hibbert. Talk to me about the festival today. What has it been like?
It has been a great festival. Owing to the fact that I am a small coffee farmer, and what I see today is great, and I believe that more farmers should have been here, and more Jamaicans should be here to witness this festival of our own Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee. I also view that a lot of visitors was here, and I see they are all full joy themselves. Everything today was great, and I'm looking forward to it for next year.
Is there anything that you think the government can do to enhance the festival come next year?
Well, what I think the government should do, they should put a bigger input in it, okay? And to help to do something to help we the struggling farmers based on what is reached us as coffee farmers now. Because, you know, our venture is very expensive, okay? So if we can get some reduction like in farm tools, fertilizers and things like those, it will be great. It will be helpful for us at this time.
Hypro being here today, maybe many folks may want, you know, Hypro at a coffee seminar. Everybody know Hypro to be a company that sells feed and chicken. But you know, over the years, Hypro has integrated the operations, and we now have an agronomy department at Hypro, where we sell a wide cross-section of pesticides, meaning fungicides and insecticides, fertilizers for the coffee industry.
What do you think about the festival? What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, for the first time, I mean, it's a great show. I mean, we get to interact with some of the stakeholders. You know, we can showcase our products that we have at Hypro to control some of the major problem in the coffee industry.
I like festivals, and I've been to festivals in other countries, and it's world class. I like the quality, I like what I'm seeing, and I have a bit of love for coffee, so it's good to come and have experienced so many different coffee products, and there are also other things, so it's really good. I'm enjoying it.
Chris, talk to me a little bit about your experience so far.
Oh, it's been wonderful so far to be able to come up to the Blue Mountains and experience where the real coffee comes from in Jamaica. The people and all the events and stalls that have been held are pretty good.
You have a drink in your hand there. Where is that drink from?
Right there, sir. Island Blue coffee.
How is that?
Pretty damn good.
All right, thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
Appreciate your time, man.
It is truly a weekend of Epicurean excellence right here at the inaugural Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival, and I'm now joined by a few friends. Talk to me about the experience so far.
Oh, it's a great initiative. Although we live in Jamaica, we don't get to drink Blue Mountain coffee, and we are all from Japan, and Blue Mountain coffee is very famous there. So yes, we've always wanted to try.
What are you looking forward to?
Trying the local delicacy and different types of coffee, yes, at this very beautiful location.
We're still here at the inaugural Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival, and we have much more for you coming up right after this break. Stay with us.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
What has the feedback been like from some of the patrons here today?
Oh, it's been amazing. As a matter of fact, I was just walking through the marketplace and, you know, everyone is having such a great time. They didn't expect this evening. They're enjoying Taurus Riley. They've enjoyed the performances, the dancers from Dance Theatre Expressions. They enjoyed Charlestown Maroons. The food, the energy, the atmosphere. It's amazing.
What did the Tourism Linkages Network hope to take away from this festival today?
We have 36 booths, everything, coffee related, coffee infused, and coffee. Our mandate is to connect local suppliers of goods and services with the tourism industry, to introduce them to that expansive value chain that is tourism. And so with an event like this, we're working with the stakeholders in the Blue Mountains. We're working with, I'm sure you saw the signs coming up, the culinary trail. So we're working with the restaurants for that culinary experience. We're working with coffee farmers as well, so that they understand that their contribution to the coffee industry is more than just producing the beans. You understand? So essentially, we are trying to deepen our linkages on the agriculture side by working with farmers and also working with the businesses to create a wholesome, fulsome experience that locals and visitors alike can enjoy.
And what can we expect from the Blue Mountain Coffee Festival 2019?
Oh gosh, bigger and better. Of course, we want to continue to strengthen our partnerships with JDF, with Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries, RADA, JCRA. We want to work with all the coffee producers, the Cafe Blues, coffee traders, Cannonballs, Starbucks. We want to work with all of them, big and small, and just work to make the industry even better for all the players.
Cannonball Cafe is one of the first cafes in the Jamaica industry. We have been in business for over 14 years. We offer a wide range of products, from the most outstanding and delectable breakfasts to soups, sandwich, salads, lasagnas, crab backs, and of course, the unbelievable Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee, because without that, there is nothing else to be had.
Talk to me about how the festival here might boost your brand at Cannonball Cafe.
Well, it's definitely going to help us, because anything that we can do to raise the awareness of our Blue Mountain coffee can only benefit us. And we are so intrinsically steeped with our coffee culture here, and we want to get out to everybody in Jamaica how fabulous our coffee is, and the world actually, and what we can do and how talented we are with our coffee as well as all of our baked goods. It can only help us. It's a win-win for everybody.
What do you think about the state's idea to move out of the traditional drink-like use of the Blue Mountain coffee?
Well, we're already doing that, because we have it infused in our bread pudding. We have what we call a mini puff of heaven, which is an eclair with some coffee-infused French cream. We do coffee-infused brownies with a glacé sauce all over it. So we have a wide assortment. It's not just for drinking, but it's also for eating and consuming. Chocolate-covered coffee beans, you name it, we got it.
I'm here with Russ Jeremiah from the company Natural by Nature. Talk to me a little bit about your business here and what's going on.
Yeah, we have some coffee product infusion with coffee fried dumpling, coffee bame. We have coffee rice and peas, roast fish.
Well, let me ask you, this is the inaugural Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival. What do you think about it? What are your thoughts?
Up, thumbs up. 100% out of 100, yeah. And we have to keep on doing such cultural thing like this because Jamaica is a cultural island. We're full of culture, we're full of talent, so put it on.
Talk to me about your experience here today.
It's been fabulous. We as a social enterprise, our goal is to employ deaf people throughout the island. So we're excited today. Our baristas are working in 3 different tents with different partners. We're here today with Country Traders, which their brand is Coffee Roasters brand. We're also at Cannonball and Toyota with David Twyman's Coffee. So it's been great crowds. It's been a steady flow throughout the day, and I feel really good and excited for what next year holds.
How do you think the festival is helping to boost the local coffee industry in Jamaica?
Yeah, it's got to be positive because a lot of times people don't know how diverse coffee can be, how it can be used. So as they come here and see it on Copperwood Port, as a rub, or they see it as a pour over, they see it as espresso, they're going to see a barista competition later. It's just going to raise everybody's awareness and understanding of coffee.
How do you think the festival here will help to boost brand Cafe Blue?
That's a good question. I think it's not only about Cafe Blue. I think it's about Blue Mountain Coffee in general. From the fact that we are coffee farmers and we have actually utilized the product in another way, in many other ways, to develop byproducts. As you can see, our chocolate-covered beans, our chocolate-infused coffee, and our coffee that we distribute all over. I think it's for everybody. I think this is a push Jamaica, not just about us as a brand as Cafe Blue. I think, of course, it will add to what we do, but listen, we're all about everybody. That is brand Jamaica in general.
So talk to me about how you at Cafe Blue engage Jamaican farmers.
On the Cafe Blue side, we don't actually have direct contact with the farmers per se. It's more Coffee Traders, which is our mother company. That is the farming aspect of where we come from and where we were birthed out of, our brand. And what we do is we actually provide seminars for them. We actually have contacts that work with us directly that basically ensure that farmers at all times are managing their costs, which is most important, especially for them to reap the benefits of making sure that the coffee is sold at the best price, and also for them to be successful. All right, that is important. So we make sure that we educate them, which is the most important thing, and that we show them the techniques, we share with them, we make sure that they're involved in all aspects of the farming.
Third place is Toyota and Cannonball! Woo! In second place, my people, my coffee lovers. Scoring, where are my points? 105 points. It goes to the man that made my lips feel good with that almond on the rim of the cup. Def Kid! Competition winner is Coffee Blue at 108 points.
That's it from us here at the inaugural Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival. Until next time, I've been your host, Andrew Laidley, and thanks for tuning in to Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Today we come to you from an area that is established as an all-inclusive collection, rich in both primary and secondary source materials, covering all aspects of Caribbean life and society. If you guess the National Library of Jamaica, then you're absolutely correct. Hi, I'm Theodore Henry, and you're watching Jamaica Magazine. Today we take you to St. Thomas and share some acts of random kindness, plus so much more. So listen, don't move a muscle, stay right where you are. We'll be right back.
It's always beautiful in Jamaica. Everything usually be green and pretty. We have beautiful water. Temperature that is normal temperature, the water never cold. We've been into business for about 13 years. JUSC-COOL, just cool. It's spelled with 3 0. We make 3 different types of pudding. We make potato, we make cornmeal, and we make toto. This is the cornmeal, okay? That's actually almost the last process. What he's gonna do now, he's gonna put a gel on top. Within no time, he has to take it off because the gel give it a nice taste. We have people like Shelly and Fraser came here. We have, you could name the biggest artists, Shabba Ranks, name them all. Being the Man, they all come here and buy their pudding. This is what we grew up on. Now, when the people come to Jamaica, everybody, as soon as they land off the plane, this is where they come. They want to taste this pudding because it's bringing them back to the old days. The long time days when they was kids growing up and they used to sit on the fire and watch their mama or their grandmother bake the pudding. We try not to change off our roots, we try to keep it that way. And not only that, we have a lot of love because we're all about love.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, October 24. 1,500 additional young people will be trained under the Jamaica National Service Corps program. Finance and Public Service Minister Dr. Nigel Clark says the young people will be recruited and trained in 3 batches by October 2019.
We are indeed pleased by the progress that has been made in this program, and it has been so successful that the next cohort that's to begin training on the 28th of October will be the largest contingent of persons to ever be trained by the Jamaica Defense Force.
Dr. Clark was speaking on Saturday at the passing out parade ceremony for 220 recruits held at the Jamaica Defense Force's Monique Training Camp in St. Anne. He commended the graduates and encouraged them to continue adhering to the values that were instilled during their training.
And to make good use of the 9 months with something.
The 220 graduates represent the 4th intake under the Jamaica National Service Corps program. They underwent 16 weeks of rigorous training on military service knowledge, basic first aid, and weapons handling, among other areas. Bamboo is being explored as a possible alternative to the production of plastic and styrofoam containers as government embarks on a policy to ban the use of those materials. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries, J.C. Hutchinson, gave that update as he addressed a recent JIS think tank.
All the plastic that you can think of can be made from bamboo. So we are going to be looking that this can be a big alternative for all the plastic that there is that we are now presently using.
Starting January 1 next year, government will be imposing a ban on the importation, manufacture, distribution and use of specific categories of plastic and styrofoam packaging materials. President of the Bamboo Industry Association of Jamaica, Robert Rainford, says the upcoming Caribbean International Bamboo Symposium will feature discussions on how bamboo can be used as a substitute for the materials.
The symposium that is coming up is a great opportunity for us to showcase what bamboo can do. And the issue of plastic and styrofoam is really timely because bamboo can be a substitute for all of those things. And so we have done a lot of work in that area, and we're looking forward to making sure that we can fill the gap when that comes.
The Caribbean International Bamboo Symposium will be held at the Jamaica Conference Center in Kingston on November 27 and 28. The symposium will be followed by a field visit to bamboo productive enterprises on November 29. A joint select committee of Parliament has been established to consider and report on the Bank of Jamaica Amendment Act 2018. The committee will be chaired by Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark. Other members include Minister without portfolio in the Finance Ministry, Fable Williams, and Justice Minister Delroy Chuck. State Minister of Education, Youth and Information, Floyd Green, along with members of Parliament, Mark Golding, Leslie Campbell, Peter Bunting, and Dr. Wickham McNeil, will also sit on the committee. The Senate will announce its members shortly. Minister Clark says the legislation seeks to modernize the Bank of Jamaica and give it autonomy and independence in law for the implementation of monetary policy.
The bill, Mr. Speaker, seeks to improve the governance of the central bank, to strengthen and deepen the governance, and very importantly, seeks to introduce transparency to monetary policy decisions and monetary policy actions of the central bank.
The finance minister was speaking on Tuesday in the House of Representatives where the legislation was tabled. He pointed out that the Bank of Jamaica Amendment Act was also seeking to ensure that the central bank was adequately capitalized at all times. The country will know in November if reggae music will be inscribed on the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage Representative List. The submission to have reggae inscribed on the World Heritage List was made in March 2017. Culture Minister Olivia Grange says technical experts from UNESCO are currently in the process of examining Jamaica's reggae nomination dossier.
We are in that process. We will know in November if we are successful. But we are working very hard to ensure that just like Kingston has been designated by UNESCO, the creative city of music, that reggae music will be designated as Jamaican and that we will be protected worldwide.
Minister Grange was speaking at yesterday's press conference to launch the 2019 Carnival in Jamaica. She also revealed that her ministry would be establishing an inventory of intangible heritage that's unique to Jamaica, which was a requirement of UNESCO. Residents of Steertown in St. Ann and surrounding communities, as well as neighboring parishes, benefited from free dental and optical care recently. The service was provided by Great Shape Inc., a United States-based nonprofit organization which partnered with the Sandals Foundation. The team administered laser surgeries for scores of persons with referrals and provided free prescription glasses, sunglasses, and reading glasses.
This is our first year doing laser surgery. When people have glaucoma, they have a lot of pressure in the eye, and with this surgery we could reduce the pressure in the eye and save their sight for many years.
The team of volunteer doctors from the US and Canada also carried out blood sugar and pressure screenings between October 15 and 19. Over 200,000 persons have benefited from the organization's Eye Care Project, which is now in its 10th year, as well as its 1,000 Smiles program for the last 16 years. And finally, Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport Olivia Grange has presented former Jamaican national footballer Luton Shelton Jr. with a $5 million check to help with medical expenses. The funds were provided by the Sports Development Foundation. Minister Grange delivered the check on Monday during halftime at a football match at the Harborview Stadium in Kingston. The money will go towards the medical expenses of Luton, who has been battling amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, since 2016. ALS is a progressive neurodegenerative disease that affects nerve cells in the brain and the spinal cord. News of the former footballer's condition emerged earlier this month, and he has since received a wave of public support. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Let's get a little breeze on this land. All right. Now let's get some bounce in the rhythm. All right. Let's get some fire on our hearts. Now that is what we call all right. Run, come, get some Jamaica.
So for today, our Round the Bend Travelogue series takes us to St. Thomas. If you don't know much about what's on offer in the parish, watch this as I continue my research here at the National Library.
It's one of the oldest parishes in the island that might have been originally named after Thomas Hickman Lord Windsor, the then governor of Jamaica in 1662. Seated in a right angle, bordered by the spellbinding St. Andrew on the west, the picturesque Portland on the north, and then gently washed by the waves of the Seine Caribbean Sea.
Bienvenido a St. Thomas.
Welcome to St. Thomas.
Full place, St. Thomas, we're there.
St. Thomas today now. Welcome to St. Thomas.
However you put it, we're there, St. Thomas. Join us on this travelogue. We'll be moving throughout the creases and corners of this beauty, turning the pages of our local history book, in which you will see the old Borden Wharf, Judgment Cliff, Roselle Waterfall, and other places. The cliff high above the Landaway community in St. Thomas at first glimpse appears to be just like any other overlooking the parish. But take a second look and you'll notice that a section of it is completely gone. Known as Judgment Cliff, it got its name from a story of how an entire community was wiped out during the 1692 earthquake. It's a story that passed through generations in the community and one that residents readily recount to passerbys like myself.
Judgment Cliff, I was informed that they used to have a plantation up there run by a serious, wicked slave master. Imposed draconian measures on the farmers, and one of the reasons why they resided on the cliff, that in case the slave wanted to run away, they would have difficulty in doing so. The place collapsed. I guess during the same time, Port Royal earthquake was taking place. That was 1692.
It was a plantation to people who lived there too. Everybody get covered out. Then say, when it happens at night, they say a man, a rooster, and a bull save. The man gone out, gone wild. The rooster fly off of the roost. The bull broke down the pen, gone out, gone wild, same like the man.
We're still set on traveling this allure, blessed indeed by the events of history. Right now, we're headed to a gem up the road on the corner. Tumbling over the rocks onto the roadside is an area known for its pristine waterfalls and fishes. The Roselle Waterfall is used for bathing and even for washing by residents or those passing by. It was once a busy area for commerce and entertainment prior to Hurricane Dean in 2007. But despite that, residents still enjoy the untouched water and how it seemingly removes all pains and ills. And from that water that falls, our next stop is a spot where the residents fish.
This fishing area named Lethal Beach, right? When the weather good, we go to sea and fish. When it's bad, we have to stay on the land. Well, we're doing this about some 50 years now, and we do it for a living. So I maintain the family. We have to prepare the net. We buy the net ready-made, and we put on the fittings towards it. We put on the lead and the cork and so on. Like what you see here, you know, we put it in the boat and go out and fish. We catch all type of fish. We catch snapper, we catch parrot, drum, barracuda, doctor fish, all type of different fishes. Sometimes tourists pass and them take pictures and all them kind of thing. And them like when they're knitting in it, sometimes they spend all the day with you. This is my daily living, and that's something that I enjoy all my life. I don't know that's work but fishing now.
Back in the days, over Bournemouth, they usually do a lot of export a lot of things over there. You know. We even use our small canoe and go over there to fishing through the day. It's just across from the other side of the fishing village.
St. Thomas is a major growing area for food such as banana, coffee, coconut, sugarcane, and even for fishing. It houses one of the island's natural deep water harbors that was once used as a port for exporting these same food items. Now, we couldn't come to St. Thomas and not mention anything about our national hero Paul Bogle or the popular Morant Bay Rebellion.
Yeah, the Morant Bay Rebellion took place at the Morant Bay Courthouse with Paul Bogle and his followers marching from Stony Gut to Morant Bay.
Poverty and inequality in the society forced Paul Bogle to lead the protest march to this courthouse on October 11, 1865. In a violent confrontation with official forces, nearly 500 people were killed and more were flogged and punished before order was finally restored. On October 24, 1865, Paul Bogle was arrested and executed at this very same spot of land, the Morant Bay Courthouse. And just like that, we've ended our tour in this natural and material beauty, unfolding the stories behind just a few places. If you haven't been here already, then what are you waiting for?
Sweetie? How can I change my world?
You can change your world by being polite.
Good morning.
Good morning. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Miss.
With just one action.
We can change the world with acts of random kindness.
Stay kind, act kind, be kind.
It's now time to check out an initiative being put forward by the JCF. The goal? Teach resilience and social skills to youth from at-risk communities.
So many times we sit and we talk and we say, hey, I would love for Jamaica to be this kind of place. But what are you really doing? What type of Jamaica do you want to see?
We're hoping to use art to teach Jamaica that it's the thunder that grows the flower. It's the gentle rain. We want Jamaica to stop thundering for everything and start to put forth gentle rain, especially in the lives of our youth.
This gentle rain is the Acts of Random Kindness initiative being put forward by the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the JCF, a program that inspires and encourages expressions of kindness.
Our project comes out of our youth empowerment and mentorship program, where we're teaching our youngsters to know themselves, to know their purpose, to understand that it is important to cultivate attitudes of kindness, gratitude, and respect, as well as to put themselves on a good destiny, a life path.
The Youth Empowerment and Mentorship Program uses the iPad Summer Camp to teach resilience and social skills to children from at-risk communities.
If we can show you an act of kindness when you were young, if you were to reciprocate this act of kindness to somebody else, what a wonderful Jamaica this could be.
We saw a youth leader in the camp who decided to take responsibility for the lack of a belt on one of his team's part and said, you know what, you have my belt and I will then take the responsibility for the consequences. It's like an evolution and a revolution all at once, because they made revolutionary changes to their behaviors, as opposed to when they just came on day 1, day 2. And you could start to see them evolving into being kind and gentler youth.
Action means identity, purpose, attitude, and destiny. So with the attitude, you have also respect, kindness, and gratitude. It's important because most youths are growing up in very disturbing societies where a level of kindness and love isn't shown. So the camp actually gives us that love that is missing from our lives and help us to reflect this on others as well.
We want our youth to do tangible acts of random kindness, to be kindness ambassadors in their schools and communities. This will in turn raise the awareness in adults that they too should be agents of change.
We are challenging Jamaica to engage in a very self-conscious way in acts of random kindness amongst adults and towards our children. We want you to think kind, Jamaica. We want you to act kind. We want you to be kind.
I am ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. You have to have kindness in your heart. You have to be compassionate towards people. Some persons really need it. A little act of kindness sometimes motivates somebody else.
So we want our youngsters at school, at home, and at play to think kind, act kind, and be kind. It is a message that needs to be self-conscious.
We are inviting you, youth, adults, business places, to take up your link in the chain and bring this initiative to life. Respond with smiles, hugs, positive affirmations, and acts of kindness to transform relationships in homes, schools, the workplace. Transform relationships right across Jamaica.
If we want a kinder, gentler Jamaica, where all of us want to live, work, and raise family, it is important that each and every one of us start to think about the words that we speak to our children. Start with a kind word. Start by giving a smile and saying good day. Start by saying thank you. Start by giving a hug. Where you can, be a mentor. Just listen to their concern. Show that you have some degree of understanding and empathy.
Be conscious, be aware. The cost to being kind is a state of mind.
Prime Minister, the Honorable Andrew Holness, wants to share plans with you on the development of our country. Join us for a town hall meeting at 6 p.m. on Thursday, October 25, 2018. Come share ideas with the Prime Minister, the Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang, the Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, the Honorable Favour Williams, and the UDC Chairman, Senator Ransford Braham. We want to hear from you on Thursday, October 25 at 6 p.m. on the southern lawns of National Heroes Park. Be there.
Imagine a tour on which you'll eat till you're full, dining against the backdrop of the blue hues of the mountains, sipping authentic Blue Mountain coffee. Sounds appealing? Then you must, if only once, venture on the Jamaica Blue Mountain Culinary Trail. The Ministry of Tourism has embarked on a gastronomic mission to promote Jamaica as a culinary destination. This is the main aim of the Gastronomy Network, one of 5 networks established recently by the ministry. The first product of the Gastronomy Network was the implementation of the Jamaica Blue Mountain Culinary Trail. This is a tour of eateries and attractions nestled within the UNESCO-designated World Heritage Site of Jamaica's Blue Mountains. Whether you take the Eastern or Western Trail, you'll have access to at least 15 participating venues.
Gastronomy, or food tourism, as people commonly refer to it across the world, represents 88% of the reason that people travel. Therefore, will be responsive to the palates of the world. What we have to do is to prepare it a little differently, present it a little more appealing, and to move it from basic street food to the highest level of gourmet.
Wet the palate with hors d'oeuvres, dip into Strawberry Hill Restaurant's coffee ice cream, or drink coffee at a more than a century-old farm.
From Colombia, we also say Colombia's coffee is really good and we're really proud about it. So it was really interesting to hear the Jamaican perspective of their own coffee. The coffee was delicious and it's really amazing to be able to have a cup of coffee, look into the mountains and just like enjoy. So the coffee was definitely the highlight for me today.
Jamaicans talk about how great our coffee is, but I don't think we have any idea why. And that's what I learned today. It was phenomenal.
Vegetarians, meat lovers, those into traditional cuisine, or Jamaican fusion meals, there's a bite for every appetite. The Jamaica Blue Mountain Culinary Trail provides a getaway for nature buffs and foodies, wrapped up in one journey. The tour stops at about 4 restaurants, each boasting a historic or cultural backdrop. After dining, there lies an opportunity to walk off the food with the Accompong Maroon Drummers.
Our aim is to preserve the integrity and uniqueness of the region. The beauty, diversity, and sheer magnificence of the region is unparalleled.
The Ministry of Tourism has identified gastronomy tourism as a medium for diversifying Destination Jamaica. Through the Tourism Linkages Network, the Gastronomy Network is offering locals and visitors a tasty treat of the Jamaica Blue Mountains. To plan your own food trail inside the mountains, contact the Gastronomy Network. They're located at the Jamaica Tourism Center, 64 Knutsford Boulevard, New Kingston, or call them at 920-4926-30. As always, we want to thank you for staying with us on Jamaica Magazine. If you missed anything from today's show, anything at all, you can watch it again on our website or our YouTube page. And don't forget to keep up with us via our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages. Remember, a reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Violence is bad. Violence against our innocent little children is terrible. Pretending not to notice when we know or suspect that a child is suffering is awful and morally wrong. In the words of the great Nelson Mandela, there can be no keener realization of a nation's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Think about that for a second. I have a voice. It's one of my gifts. I intend to use it on behalf of our children. No more violence against our children. Make your move to stop violence against our children right now. No more. No more. No more.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Delta Supply Company Limited celebrates 45 years this evening with a celebratory dinner and award ceremony. Please stay tuned for this evening's proceedings. I'm your host, Amita Prasad Webb.
I am delighted to be a part of tonight's proceedings because, after all, this company has been around for just about as long as I've been around. We live in an age where companies are here today and they're gone later today. 80% of the companies or businesses, they fail within, get this, 18 months of opening up. That means if 10 businesses get started, within 18 months, only 2 will survive. Happy to say that Delta was in that too. So that's good news. So that's one reason that we're exceedingly happy to be here to celebrate with you this evening. Now, over Delta's 45-year history, it has survived violent elections, riots, strikes, natural and man-made disasters, and still stands firm. So tell me, who is the undisputed champion of companies? Delta. Tonight we come together to celebrate this great champion of a company and to celebrate its achievements and its contributions to Jamaica. And most importantly, the team, the Delta Force team, as I mentioned before. So to get this party started, we of course would not be here. And those of you who are Christians, you know that it took a lot of prayers along with blood, sweat, and tears to survive 40 years of all the things I've mentioned before. So I think it would be appropriate for us to invite the Director of Operations, Mrs. Bradley Ann Powell, and she will say grace for us. And after that, we can move into dinner.
Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together for this momentous occasion, celebrating Delta's 45th. Thank you for friends, family, and wonderful employees who have helped us along this beautiful journey. Please bless the food which we're about to eat and the hands that prepared it. Amen.
I think I should let you know here that we have everything that you would want to make an event like this very special. And that includes, of course, the music, the food, the company, and of course at Delta, the atmosphere there is one of family. And so they're very proud of that. So we have all the right ingredients for a winning event. Now, I promised you earlier it was going to be family, fun, and food. So the first F is now food. And I've been doing this long enough to know that anytime at this hour of the night you see cutlery lying idle around, it's never a good idea to talk too long. During dinner, we have a very special band to provide entertainment for you. This is the Jamaica Hummingbirds Steel Band, and they've been around for all of 23 years. So basically what I'll do at this point is just invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy.
The Nissan X-Trail with All-Mode I Technologies. No matter what the road throws at you, your story starts here.
We're taking you beyond our shores, across the region and around the world. Every week, BATV gives you in-depth reporting on the major stories that gripped headlines in the Caribbean and on the international scene. Join us Sundays for This Week Abroad. Business Access TV, serious about business at home and abroad.
This is Saturday's Weekend Business Report. Economic windfall.
Unsecured loans.
Alleged corruption.
Follows the closure. If they made this investment.
Brokers
strive to increase revenues.
He sought some answers.
Financial meltdown.
Here are the week's final numbers. Here's Garth. News Roundup.
Camille, it's back to you.
That's Weekend Business Report with me, Keneal Gale, Saturdays and Sundays.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, product launch, workshop or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357 or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Thanks for staying with us. We head to the stage for more of this evening's proceedings.
I think it's fair that you should know that since starting its operations in 1972, Delta Supply Company Limited has established itself as a leading industrial equipment distributor in Jamaica. Delta was born 45 years ago when the organization's managing director, Mr. George Swire, was presented with an opportunity to purchase a contractor's excess stock of equipment, and risking his entire life's savings, George bought the inventory and eventually sold off 250,000 Jamaican dollars worth of materials over a 10-year period. Now, 45 years ago, that's a heck of a lot of money and a lot of sales. So that was a big achievement. Delta started as a welding distributor to the bauxite and sugar industries in an effort to compete against Lincoln and Hobart, the two established brands in Jamaica at the time. George decided to go after the Miller brand, which was virtually unknown in the island. Nobody knew about Miller at the time. So even though he had no appointment to meet with the company, no track record with the Miller brand, and no physical company address, George took a flight and headed up to Wisconsin, USA, to pitch his idea to the Miller executives. Completely reliant on his prior experience of 8 years of selling to Miller's competitors, George Swire somehow convinced Miller to sign on as Delta's first international supplier. As the business grew, Delta Supply eventually set up shop at 110 Hagley Park Road in Kingston. In September of 1973, less than a year after opening its doors, tragedy struck. A fire destroyed the store. As you can well imagine, George was devastated. Supported by his wife, Juanita, the wind beneath his wings, he regained his confidence, picked up the pieces, and rebuilt the business in a new location. By the late 1980s, the organization began to expand. George purchased a chainsaw to clear approximately 600 acres of farmland in a bid to break into the cattle rearing industry. After only 6 weeks, the chainsaw broke. Poor George struggled to get it repaired. Out of frustration, he began to ask others about their experiences and quickly realized one of their biggest concerns was a lack of servicing support for the equipment. This new information led to Delta Supply partnering with the German chainsaw brand Stihl, the first of many steps in providing products outside of its traditional offerings. In the following years, the company developed a strategy to market the chainsaws and brush cutters to small business people and increased brand awareness among students at technical schools across the country. Today, still commands a staggering 90% of the chainsaw market and 70% of the brush cutter market right here in Jamaica. Delta Supply has gone on to add several other premium brands to its portfolio and is widely recognized as the dealer of choice. What separates Delta from its competitors is its incredible product knowledge. The organization is able to truly understand its clients' needs and effectively seek solutions for any challenges they might face. Delta Supply's many accomplishments over the past 45 years have certainly not gone unnoticed and has also been featured in international publications such as the US-based Business View magazine and the prestigious Harvard, yes, the Harvard Business Review. At this point, I'd like to invite you all to turn your attention to the screen. As we are going to take you to the movies, we're going to take a quick look at this remarkable company, Delta Supply.
Delta is always fair to its customers first and foremost, fair to its employees, fair to the partners they work with, the suppliers they represent, and of course you have to be fair to your staff, the team that does the hard work, and the shareholders for the company. And I think that the company has over the years built on those principles.
Delta Supply, good morning.
I enjoy working at Delta Supply because the energy is right. Teamwork is the order of the day. We boast a healthy, warm, family-like environment, which definitely takes the edge off the day.
I think very important to our team members, they see us as a family business. When the company started in 1972, we were only about 3 persons. As of today in 2018, we're over 60 persons. And you know, for the next generation, myself, my sister Bradley Ann, and my cousin Nadine, one of our big goals is that we're going to maintain the family vibe. That no matter how large the company grows, it's still a family business. And that's going to be an interesting challenge, but we're ready to take it on.
We take our final break, but more of Delta Supply Company Limited 45th anniversary dinner and award ceremony when we return.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but 4 walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Go for God Family Church.
Today's message is for those of you who thought that Jesus was finished.
Inspiring messages.
I'm here to tell you today that you are excellent. God is excellent.
Empowerment from biblical motivation.
To be glorified means to endow with authority. A woman is a powerful, creative being.
Join Pastor Christopher Morgan and the Go for God team as we go for God.
Thanks for staying with us. We head to the stage for more of this evening's proceedings.
The best way to celebrate a company's success is to celebrate its people, because without the people, there's no company. And that's what tonight is all about. You, the employees, the Delta Force, as I refer to you. I'd like to invite to the stage Mrs. Lorna Winter-Todd, the Human Resource Manager, and she's going to be handing out the Long Service Awards to employees in the 10 to 14 years category. For 10 years, let's hear it for Damian Brown. There we go. Let's hear it for our next employee, 10 years of service, Fillmore Roper. There we go. So the next employee could not be here, unfortunately, with us tonight, but let's acknowledge her just the same. Judith Raymond. And of course, we'll make sure that Judith gets her award. Moving on down the line, the next employee, 10 years of service, Marlon Mitchell. Our next employee, 11 years and still going strong, Angela O'Connor. There we go. Angela O'Connor. 12 years of service, Sandra Lee Anderson. "13 years of service." The next recipient is Vengsaka Grant. Yeah. There we go. And finally, in the category 10 to 14 years, let's welcome Arthur Scott. What? Nice work, Arthur. Congratulations to all the awardees for your ongoing commitment to Delta. We now invite the man who makes money moves. The financial controller, Mr. Carl Gowdy, will come on stage to hand out the single long service award for the category of 15 to 19 years. Only one person for all of 18 years, Lorna Priestley. He flashed that award-winning smile here. I now would like to call on Director Mrs. Juanita Swire to issue the awards for Delta employees with over 20 years of service. Robert Dunkley, a.k.a. the Troubleshooter, is a meticulous investigator and skilled technician. Now, Robert couldn't be here with us in person tonight, but Ornella Dunkley and Robert Dunkley Jr. will accept the Long Service Award on behalf of their father, Robert Dunkley. So our next awardee is Denise Palmer Jackson. Denise represents so much more than just a sales agent. She is a reliable consultant and a trusted advisor. Tonight, we celebrate Denise's meteoric rise from service administration representative to Ocheria's branch manager during her 27-year stint at Delta Supply Company Limited. And now, please join me in saluting Barbara Thompson. Barbara Thompson, a.k.a. the Barrier Breaker, is part of an elite group of females in the male-dominated mechanics field. Gifted with a remarkable memory, pulling down and rebuilding small engine machines may be a chore for many, but for Barbara, it's a source of enjoyment and great pride. Barbara is among the best of them in the industry, and today, Delta Supply's resident still master technician is the organization's longest-serving employee. Mr. George Swire, Managing Director at Delta Supplies, would you please join me on stage, sir? Just move around the center stage. Take your rightful place where you belong. On behalf of the entire team at Delta Supply. You know what it is, don't you? No? They didn't tell you? No? Of course you know. Turn, look right there. See that right over there? Take off the clothing. Wow. Good. You recognize that place, sir? On behalf of the Delta Force team, to you.
I've been hearing a lot of nice things said about me tonight and how much of a forward planner I was and how successful I have been. But I would like you to know that success has a lot of parents. Failure hasn't got very much. So the man you see standing here before you tonight have had his fair share of luck and fair share of good friends and good associates. And I want to thank you all for coming here tonight to share this moment with us. And to all the, I think it is 68 employees, I can't call each name, but the 68 of you, it's been a pleasure working with you, and I look forward to coming every 2 months or so to see how you're doing. I think the rest of you who don't know it, I am retired. I was retired on the 22nd of December, 2017. I took the decision to retire because I was confident that my children, Jonathan and Bradley, were quite capable of doing a better job than I have been able to do. And I want to ask them to come forward. This is the baton. Run a good race.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Tonight's event would not have been possible if it weren't for the tireless work of a group of diligent professionals. At this time, I'd like to publicly acknowledge them for their contribution. It is interesting that I found myself working full-time at Delta in 2000, 2008, when the recession hit. There was a lot of economic uncertainty at that time as well. It was daunting, to say the least. And George Swire, in his sage advice, he tells a lot of stories. And to explain to Bradley and I how we were going to navigate this new economy, he told us a lot about what he had to do in the 70s. Being creative, being imaginative, knocking on every door, finding the opportunities that other folks are not looking at. And we found a way in 2008 and onwards to navigate the recession. And that is based on the wisdom and guidance of George Swire and the wonderful team that we have. A strength of my father is that he teaches well. He teaches by anecdote and conversation. He shares experience, what his thinking was going into the experience, and what his thinking was coming out the other side. It's been a wonderful 45 years, and with the people that we have, we're going to get to 100 years. So, without much more talking, cheers to 100 years.
Thank you for joining us for Business Access TV's coverage of Delta Supply Company Limited 45th Anniversary Dinner and Awards Ceremony. I've been your host, Amita Prasadweb, and thank you for watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.
My name is Dennis O'Brien, Chairman of Digicel. You're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
Good evening, welcome to BATV News. I'm Garth Williams. The government is promising a new drainage system following yesterday's massive flooding in the corporate area, which resulted in commuters being stuck in traffic for hours. Local Government and Community Development Minister Desmond McKenzie today toured some of the areas affected by the flooding. Sashana Small reports.
Heavy rains yesterday caused massive flooding in the corporate area and major traffic gridlock on Malines, Marcus Garvey Drive and in New Kingston. Earlier today, the local government minister Desmond McKenzie toured some of the areas affected by the flooding. He admitted that this time around, it was the small drainage system that was the major cause of the flooding, and that's why the government intends to build a new one.
What took place yesterday was something I wouldn't say that has taken us by surprise, but what it created in terms of the gridlock and the dislocation, that really took us by surprise. Steps are on the way to improve the drainage system by constructing a brand new drainage system, something along the similar lines as the Sandy Gully.
Minister McKenzie says the new drainage system will be built jointly by the National Works Agency and the Port Authority.
We'll construct a modern drainage system that will take the capacity not just from here, but from as far as the Walton Park Road area, because based on the assessment, that has been done. The water that is coming here is coming from all the way up, even as far as Ligani. And there is no proper drainage system along that corridor to facilitate the volume of rainfall that we've been getting. So this new drainage system that following discussions with the Prime Minister, I have been, authorized to say that this upgraded infrastructure system on the drainage here in Marcus Garvey Drive will be undertaken and will be undertaken in short order.
But he wasn't able to tell how soon construction will start or how the drain will be funded. However, he conceded that it's an urgent situation.
I am not able to speak specifically to the funding and the time. What I do know is following today's tour and the consultations that something will be taken to cabinet. I think the urgency of the situation warrants that, because this has been on the drawing board for some time now, and we have seen the effects of yesterday, and we wouldn't want a repeat of that.
And in the meantime, the Minister of Local Government pointed out that drain cleaning exercises will be done.
We're going to be cleaning the drains, which has to be done in order to prevent any further flooding if there is another level of rainfall of the same magnitude. And we're going to be doing that on a constant basis.
Meanwhile, Director of Technical Services at the National Works Agency, Roger Smith, said the new drains will be bigger and have a reinforced concrete bottom.
In essence, it would be a reinforced concrete drain, sufficiently sized with the requisite capacity to outfall to the west and extend into Hunts Bay. And we believe the numbers are there that demonstrate that with a drain of sufficient capacity, it will retain all the water that is coming down.
He also pointed out that the flooding yesterday should not affect the deadline for road expansion projects taking place in the corporate area.
The rain yesterday would have caused some delay, but in all these projects we have what we call a float. And China Harbour is an international contractor. They will know how to make it up. So we will still hold them contractually to complete in June.
For BATV News, I'm Shoshana Small.
Meanwhile, the National Works Agency, NWA, is advising motorists that traffic restrictions will be implemented at the intersection of Wynwood Road and Mountain View Avenue starting tomorrow evening. The NWA says the restriction is to facilitate ongoing NWC, that's National Water Commission works, that are being done as part of a larger rehabilitation effort on Wynwood Road. The traffic restrictions will begin between the hours of 8 p.m. on Thursday and 6 a.m. on Friday morning. Stephen Shaw says the NWC has been working to reconnect water pipelines to a newly installed system at the location. He says the works will include the excavation of the road surface, which will restrict the movement of traffic from Mountain View Avenue onto Wynwood Road. Delays may also be experienced by motorists traveling along Wynwood Road. Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, tabled an amendment to the Bank of Jamaica Act 2018 in Parliament yesterday. Dr. Clark, who's been on a public campaign for Jamaica's fiscal reform, says the bill seeks to modernize the central bank in keeping with international best practices in an effort to foster economic independence for the country. Jamila Maitland tells us more.
One of the agreements under the IMF standby arrangement is the amendment of the Bank of Jamaica Act to strengthen the central bank independence. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark says the amendments will also advance Jamaica's fiscal reform program and give the BOJ more control of the country's monetary policies.
Mr. Speaker, I have spoken a lot about economic independence, the ability for Jamaica to chart its own course without undue reliance on the international community for basic needs. Mr. Speaker, the means by which we can achieve that cherished goal of economic independence is by building strong and durable institutions, of which a strong central bank is key.
The bill outlines the primary focus of the central bank. It also seeks to clarify the mandate of the BOJ to include price stability, strengthening institutional independence and accountability, putting in place an effective board decision-making structure, and restoring the central bank's policy solvency. The bill will be examined by a joint select committee of Parliament.
It resolved that this Honourable House appoint a special select committee comprising the following members: Dr. the Honorable Nigel Clark, the Honorable Delroy Chuck, the Honorable Floyd Green, the Honorable Fable Williams, those ordered to be reversed, please. The Honorable Delroy, the Honorable Leslie Campbell, Mr. Peter Bunting, no, Dr. Whitcomb McNeil, Mr. Mark Golding, to sit jointly with a similar committee to be appointed by the Senate to consider and report on the bill.
Meanwhile, opposition spokesman on finance, Mark Golding, says the bill will enhance the central bank's framework and place the country in financial stability for the future.
It is an important element of it, dealing with monetary policy, the creation of money, the setting of the price of money in the form of interest rates, and the controlling of the rate at which money depreciates through inflation. These are important matters, and we very much look forward to a robust, sober, and well thought out constructive debate in the Joint Select Committee on the provisions of this bill.
For BATV News, I'm Jamila Maitland.
Meanwhile, the finance minister says the government is carefully looking at how to strike a balance between increasing the tax threshold so micro, small, and medium-sized businesses can grow while still meeting revenue targets. Here's more.
Dr. Clark says the Tax Administration of Jamaica, TAJ, collected $6.5 billion in revenues from businesses during 2017. The finance minister, who was responding to a question posed by Member of Parliament Peter Bunting in relation to the amount of tax collected from businesses within the various revenue brackets, said while the government would like to increase the threshold, several issues must be considered.
The issues to be considered include not only how much we get from those businesses on a net basis, but also the impact of not requiring businesses of an enlarged threshold to not register would also mean that those businesses now would be not, in addition to not being required to charge output taxes, they would be able, if they so choose, to claim refunds on input taxes.
Mr. Bunting acknowledged that only 30% of the businesses in Jamaica contributed to 90% of what is collected, but businesses which make less than $10 billion annually contribute almost $500,000 in taxes, which he says is a large portion. He acknowledged that while these businesses cannot be exempted from taxes, they must be protected. Businesses which make less than $3 million annually are exempted.
When you break it down on an average, Mr. Speaker, you see that businesses with a turnover of below 10 million pay about 450,000 a year or 37,000 a month. Now, to get rid of almost half the registered taxpayers would reduce the bureaucracy in the system and really make life easier for those who wanted to not register. And that is the spirit that we've been pursuing this going along with.
But Dr. Clark explained that while those same businesses are not obligated to charge GCT, many of them pay input tax, which they end up filing for because they're below the threshold. That is why he says if the tax threshold is to be revised, it needs careful consideration.
The incentive for people who do not have an obligation to file output taxes or to collect output taxes, the incentive for them is to file for a refund, because 16.5 is, if they're paying that on their input, is just too much to give up. If the number were substantially lower, then people could give it up. And therefore, while the purpose might be to reduce the complexity, in fact, you don't end up reducing the complexity because businesses are incentivized to file so they can collect a refund on the input tax, even if they're not required to file for the output.
For BATV News, I'm Jamila Maitland.
And when we come back, could locally made bamboo products replace plastic and styrofoam? This and more after the break.
Home is where all the sweetness, silliness, and beauty of life happens. Discover your style and express yourself with furniture from the Ashley Furniture Home Store. Visit any of our 2 locations at Ligony Kingston or Fairview Montego Bay. Find the most exquisite range of furniture in varying styles to suit your needs. So tell your story with elegant and affordable lounge, bedroom, dining pieces, and more from the Ashley Furniture Home Store. Here at Ashley, this is home.
Welcome back. Bamboo is being explored as a possible alternative to the production of plastic and styrofoam containers as the government embarks on a policy to ban the use of the materials. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries, J.C. Hutchinson, says the government will be looking closely at the potential of the bamboo sector in filling the gap. Mr. Hutchinson was addressing a recent JIS think tank, and he says starting January 1, of course, 2019, the government will be imposing a ban on the importation, manufacture, distribution, and use of specific categories of plastic packaging materials. These include single-use plastic bags or carrier shopping bags, styrofoam, and plastic drinking straws. Meanwhile, President of the Bamboo Industry Association of Jamaica, Robert Rainford, points out that the upcoming Caribbean International Bamboo Symposium will feature discussions on how bamboo can be used as a substitute for the materials to be banned. The Caribbean International Bamboo Symposium will be held at the Jamaica Conference Center in Kingston on November 27 and 28. The symposium will be followed by a field visit to bamboo productive enterprises on November 29. Victoria Mutual Investments raised almost $3 billion in their IPO and achieved a pre-tax profit of over $300 million for 2017. The company released its annual report yesterday. Javon Keys has more.
Victoria Mutual Investments Limited achieved a post-tax profit of $346 million for 2017. That's about 9% above the $317 million recorded in 2016. Earnings from operating revenue also increased for 2017, amounting to $966 million. That's up some 19% over the $811 million recorded for 2016. This comprised net interest income of $246 million and other operating income of $719 million. This prompted an increase in per share earnings, which went up by 3 cents over 2016, amounting to 29 cents per share. Meanwhile, operating expenses totaled almost $499 million, representing an increase of 19.6% over the previous year. Of the operating expenses, staff costs represented 58%. In the meantime, the company says it is pleased with the performance of its initial public offering IPO, which was offered in December 2017 and was 4 times oversubscribed. The IPO raised over $2.8 billion. Chairman of VMIL Investments, Michael McMorris, says he is proud of the year's significant achievements and he expects the company to continue to perform well in 2018 and beyond. For BATV News, I'm Javon Keys.
The government will know in November whether it has been successful in its efforts to have reggae music inscribed on UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage Representative List. Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport Minister Babsy, that's the Honorable Olivia Babsy Grange, says UNESCO's technical experts are examining Jamaica's reggae submission. Ms. Grange was speaking to JIS News at a joint press conference involving the Tourism Ministry to launch the 2019 Carnival in Jamaica in New Kingston yesterday. Ms. Grange says her ministry has been tasked to establish an inventory of intangible heritage unique to Jamaica, which is also one of the criteria required by UNESCO. And after these messages, we'll have regional and international stories for you. Stay with us.
the Nissan X-Trail with All-Mode I Technologies. No matter what the road throws at you, your story starts here.
You see island I wear, them are the best thing in the island I swear. Everywhere in the island I hear. Everybody with a eye problem, them a talk about the place name island I wear. Them a say, island I wear. Them a say, island I wear. Everybody with a eye problem, them a talk about island I wear.
Island Eyewear offers free eye testing every day, all day, at all locations island-wide. Conditions apply.
Island I wear. Everybody with a eye problem, them a talk about island I wear.
Welcome back. Time now for regional and international news. Bahamians could be forced to pay a new tax soon. The proposal is to have Bahamians contribute a portion of their salary towards paying for health care. More from Bahamas Eyewitness News.
Bahamians will be required to pay 2% of their annual salaries for health care if the new proposed national health insurance plan is implemented. In total, each person will be expected to contribute $1,000 annually or $83 a month. However, Chairman of the National Health Insurance Authority Board, Dr. Robert Roberts, said employees will be responsible for at least 50% of that payment.
Even individuals who make minimum wage will make a contribution. But in those instances, we expect the employer to pay a little bit more for them. So those who have minimum wage, as you will see in your proposal, they are expected to pay. So they're getting $10,000 a year. We expect them to pay $17 a month towards their health insurance. Now that's the cost of less than 4 clicks, depending where you go to buy it.
He also insists that the payment is not a tax.
You could call it a tax if you want to, but it doesn't, but like, it's a difference. You consider, if you have health insurance premium, you consider that a tax? When you pay for your health care, do you consider that a tax?
Dr. Roberts said this model, even though it may get some pushback, is the most sustainable for the country.
We can go with the British system, which is a total public system, so the government pays for it. The government owns the facilities and pays the providers. They pay a nice income tax. The next system is what the Germans have. And they have what is called social insurance. And that essentially is where we have salary deductions. Now, that seems to be the one that is probably the most to apply to our system. So that's why we've chosen it. Because the fourth one is out-of-pocket payments, and we can't pay for that now.
However, the chairman said primary care services under this new NHI will be expanded to include treatment for common diseases in the country.
Breast cancer and cervical cancer in women, prostate cancer in men, colon cancer and rectal cancer that occurs in both. With attention to our high prevalence of diseases of the heart and the blood vessels, we focus on heart attacks and its related ischemic heart disease problems.
Now, Dr. Roberts stressed that this policy is not set in stone. In fact, beginning today, there will be a 45-day consultation process with members of the public and relevant stakeholders. If approved, the new NHI will be rolled out at the beginning of 2020. Sancheska Brown, Eyewitness News.
Trinidad and Tobago's Minister of Finance, Com Imbert, has clarified the process for the passage of the Appropriation Bill 2019. He says the government's financial year begins on October 1 and ends September 30 of the following year, and all government expenditure must be made in accordance with the Appropriation Act for the financial year in question. Here's more in this report.
Failure to complete the budget debate would have made it difficult for the government to pay salaries to public servants and workers in statutory authorities. Because of this, the 2019 budget had to be debated and passed in the Senate as a matter of urgency. So says Minister of Finance, Com Imbert. He said the voting account is meant to accommodate government expenditure up to a maximum of 10% of the previous year's appropriation for the first month of the new financial year. It ceases to be effective on November 1st, 2018, and without the new Appropriation Act, government will be unable to expend funds from November 1st. The bill was passed on October 22nd. A release from the Ministry of Finance outlined several administrative mechanisms which must be effected before the bill is forwarded to Her Excellency the President for assent. These are: proof of the Act is sent to the Chief Parliamentary Counsel and the Director of Budgets. The proof of the Act is sent to the government printer for printing of assent copies. The bill file along with the 4 signed assent copies are sent to the Office of the Solicitor General. Upon completion of the preparation of the legal report, the Office of the Solicitor General will forward the bill file and the legal report for the signature of the Attorney General. And the Office of the Parliament sends the 4 signed assent copies to the President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Finance Minister Com Imbert can only sign the general warrant authorizing the Comptroller of Accounts to issue monies from the Consolidated Fund to meet government's expenditure for the financial year 2019 after the administrative process has been completed. Dion Batiste, TTT News.
St. Lucia's Citizenship by Investment program is not involved in any negotiations concerning the controversial DSH horse racetrack. That's according to CEO Nestor Alfred. Here's more.
St. Lucia's Citizenship by Investment program, CIP, has not been a factor in any developments of the controversial DSH horse racetrack now under construction. CEO Nestor Alfred told reporters on Thursday that CIP had no associations with the horse racing track. Viewfort North residents have opposed the government's Larry Schuss road diversion project to facilitate works on the track.
There is a part of it that I think that was CIP approved. That was before my time. But at this point in time, CIP is not involved in this racetrack or anything dealing with DHS at this point in time.
Prime Minister Alan Chastanet announced that the track was expected to be completed by February 2019 for a major international horse race event. When questioned further on CIP's involvement in the track, Alfred maintained that CIP had no say.
I didn't say there's no CIP approval. I said at this stage, CIP is not involved in this horse racing track.
CIP may finance some aspects of the DSH project in the near future. Alfred says the project is vast and CIP will act when needs be or by the developer.
Maybe subsequent phases. When we call upon, then we will decide how we're going to deal with it. I don't think that when the approval was given was CIP is going to go on the first phase, second phase, or third phase. The developer at any one stage will determine where it needs that injection. But the developer also has to determine his capacity, his own financial capacity to handle whatever component of that program.
Former Prime Minister and Viewfort South Parliamentary Representative Dr. Kenny Anthony has filed a claim in the High Court against the government of St. Lucia for entering into agreements with DSH. Gina Filippi, HCS News Force.
France's Millionaire Club is growing. There are now more than 2 million millionaires in France, and analysts believe it's due in part to government policies. More in this report.
With more and more members, the number of millionaires in France has now topped 2.1 million people. That's 257,000 more than last year. One reason for the jump, the rise in the price of real estate. From Parisian apartments to options, the estates of these millionaires continues to grow. Business and financial investments are also doing well, but another factor may be government policy, specifically revisions to the wealth tax this year so that it applies to property only.
From the start of their term in office, this government has favoured large financial estates because of the reform on wealth tax. The richer you are, the bigger your estate is, so the easier it is to make yourself wealthier.
The number of super wealthy in France may be growing fast, but the US is still firmly ahead, with more millionaires than anywhere else in the world. The United States is followed by China, Japan, the UK and Germany, with France in 6th position. According to the report by Credit Suisse, by 2023, the number of millionaires in France is expected to increase by some 40%, or to just over 3 million people.
Stay with us. Talking Stocks comes up next.
GrowthTech is making connectivity like oxygen. Wherever you see the GrowthTech free Wi-Fi, feel free to connect. Watch, connect, and go, allowing you to chat, check, browse, and email securely. So when you're on the go and need to connect with friends, family, or a team member, or just stay updated, look for GrowthTech's free Wi-Fi. GrowthTech, making connectivity like oxygen.
Welcome back. It's now time for Talking Stocks. 60 stocks traded today, of which 21 advanced, 30 declined, and 9 traded firm. The main JSE index declined by 1,201 points to close at over 362,000. The junior index declined by 44 points to close at 3,265. Over 3.2 million units traded today, valued at over $53 million on the Jamaican dollar market, while on the US dollar market, more than 803,000 units traded, valued at over 107,000 US dollars. JMMB Group 7.5% VRJMD preference shares with a little over 1 million units trading accounted for just about a third of market volume. Grace Kennedy with over 223,000 units trading was second, while Carreras Limited with over 210,000 units trading was third, accounting for 6% of market volume crossing the floor. The main advancers were Paramount Trading ordinary shares up 25 cents to close at $2.75. Portland JSX ordinary shares up 50 cents to close at $8.50, and General Accident Insurance up 23 cents to close at $3.95. The main decliners were Dolphin Cove down $2.14 to close at $14.86, followed by Salada Foods down $2.62 to close at $22.28, and Barita Investments down $1.68 to close at $18.21. And that's the news, but before we go, a recap of our top story. The government is promising a new drainage system following yesterday's massive flooding in the corporate area, which resulted in commuters being stuck in traffic for hours. Local government and Community Development Minister Desmond McKenzie toured some of the areas affected by the flooding. For more content, visit our website at batvja.com. I'm Garth Williams. Pleasant viewing.
This week on Wealth Magazine, we celebrate another Jamaican company, second generation operated, that has gone regionally. The JMMB Group has made its mark as a top contender in the financial sector, with Keith Duncan as its Group Chief Executive Officer. In this episode, Duncan tells us about his attempts at entrepreneurship and the impact Hurricane Gilbert had on his once thriving business, his political loyalties, and the continued growth of the JMMB Group.
Keith Duncan, Group CEO, JMMB Group Limited. I was born in Montreal, Canada. My parents were at McGill University. My mother was at McGill University in pre-med, decided to misbehave, and she had twins. My sister and I, Donna Kay and I. Keith and Donna weren't expected to survive and we ended up in this big metal incubator, right? We had hair all over our bodies, and our mouths weren't open yet, and our tongues were still stuck to the roof of our mouths. We weren't expected to live. And luckily we were born in Montreal, Canada, so this is God's work. And then we came back home. My mother brought us home, and we stayed with our grandmother for a year or two, and then we went back to Canada. And when my father, Dr. D.K. Duncan, graduated from McGill as a dentist, we came home. My mother didn't finish her degree, and she came home and she worked with him in his dental practice. He got placed in Brownstown, St. Anne, and that is where the beginning of his political career started, my father. I ended up at a school called Servite Convent. My mother thought that was too much of a prestigious school, so she sent me to Discovery Bay Primary. So I ended up at Discovery Bay Primary. Everybody around me is barefoot. I'm the only person, me and Donna are the only people that have shoes. You understand? Pit toilet and everything, and I really got an induction. So I was away from Servite Convent with all the expatriates that worked at Kaiser in the bauxite company, and I'm at Discovery Bay Primary. My father and my mother, eventually they separated and divorced, and my mother took all 5 of us, all 5 children, and she was on her own. My father was into politics all over the place, with Michael Manley, democratic socialism, preaching the gospel. You know what I mean? He forgot about dentistry, and he dedicated his life to politics. My mother, she became a dressmaker. You know what I mean? Because he didn't have any other means of survival, and she wanted to stay home with her children while they were young. And she had one little old VW, and my memories of us, all 5 of us with my mother in this one little old VW driving up and down all over the place. She couldn't afford to go grocery once a week, so I had to go to the shop every day or every other day to buy the meals. You know what I mean? I was a shopman. You know what I mean? Because the eldest. And that is how we grew up, basically. And my mother eventually, she decided when we were old enough she was going to get a job, and she went and got a job at a bank, Workers Bank, and she got a job as a teller. And she worked her way up until she became the operations manager. When she became operations manager, because she was so good at what she did, she got transferred all over the place, all across the island. So we ended up going to like 3 prep schools and 3 high schools. I went to Glenmuir High, Cornwall College, and Manchester High. And my mother eventually decided that she was going back to do her degree when she was about 36 years old. And she took Donna and I to Canada, where I was in school and I worked. I worked full-time because my mother didn't have any money. So I worked full-time, myself and Donna worked full-time. My mother was in school, and we started school part-time in junior college. And that is how we went along for a while until we got into university. In fact, I came back to Jamaica and I worked with the People's National Party as a sound man. I was a sound man, I played the sound, you understand? And for the 1980 election. Unlike my sister, I'm not into politics. I'm not into politics in a way that divides. Maybe because I'm running a company and I like to pull people together and work together for a common good. So therefore it's kind of difficult for me to transition into a thing where it's, 2 parties working against each other. I'm going to be working with any administration that is working in the best interest of Jamaica. And I will work with any administration that asks me for help or support. And wherever I see that I can add value to Jamaica and the Jamaican people and advance in Jamaica's growth prospects, I am right there working for Jamaica. I had to try to build up my own production capacity, and I just didn't have the capital. And I tried my best, and then Hurricane Gilbert came and wiped out my shipment.
Home is where all the sweetness, silliness, and beauty of life happens. Discover your style and express yourself with furniture from the Ashley Furniture Home Store. Visit any of our 2 locations at Ligony Kingston or Fairview Montego Bay. Find the most exquisite range of furniture in varying styles to suit your needs. So tell your story with elegant and affordable lounge, bedroom, dining pieces, and more from the Ashley Furniture Home Store. Here at Ashley, this is home.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Delighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but 4 walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
As the end of the year draws nigh and the celebrations begin, let us add some magic to the festivities with our BATV Christmas mix. Why settle for blah when you can have fa la 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 la? 60 advertising spots, 10 cross spots. This $1.6 million package is all yours for only $45,000. Don't wait. Contact our sales team today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Our gift to you. BATV Christmas Mix. Offer valid until December 31, 2018.
We are back with another exciting, innovative, and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we lock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, product launch, workshop or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357, or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
So I went to University of Western Ontario in Canada. While I was there, you know, as always a little entrepreneur, my mother called me a hustler. So, you know, while I was there, as you know, selling records, I used to have my own radio program, and I'd asked my sister Trisha to send me records, and I would sell them to the record stores in London, Ontario. I was importing smoked marlin from Jamaica and selling to seafood restaurants in London. And while I was there in my second year at university, I did this business course and I had to do a project. And my project, I formed a company, Jamaica Seafood Exports Limited. So after I finished my first degree, I came back home and I said, listen, I'm getting into seafood exports. So I started my company, Jamaica Seafood Exports, and I started exporting freshwater tilapia. I started exporting lobster, shrimp, seafood. But you know, I really had a good source in that there were the Israelis were here at the time with the tilapia farming, and then we had the Cubans who were here, Miami-based Cubans who were here exporting lobster, conch, etc., etc. So I had a good source, and you know, I was doing quite well for some time until they wrapped up the Israelis pulled out of Jamaica, and the Miami-based Cubans, they pulled out of the seafood business, and therefore I had to try and to build out my own production capacity, you know, and I just didn't have the capital. And I tried my best, and then Hurricane Gilbert came and wiped out my shipment because I had all my my produce in cold storage, and the Hurricane Gilbert come and mash up everything. So, you know, my mother, Joan Duncan, 100% behind her children. I mean, she gave me the capital for my seafood export business. So when that failed, her capital failed also, but she stuck with me. She worked with me. And trust me, I give my mother plenty of trouble, you know. You understand what I'm saying? I give my mother a whole heap of trouble. But she always stuck by me, worked with me, and encouraged me, you know, ensure that, you know, she gave me direction, and we always were able to talk through and be able to kind of find some direction. And, you know, eventually I ended up at Franklin D Resort as a group sales coordinator, coordinating the sales effort for Franklin D Resort, Enchanted Gardens, Sans Souci, and Singles Negril. And, you know, going overseas and meeting with travel networks and travel agents and, you know, trying to bring tourists to these resorts. I enjoyed that for a while, and then for about 2-3 years, and my mother started JMB. So when she started JMB, you know, so I'm enjoying my tourism thing, I'm traveling and, you know, enjoying it because, you know, being a sales agent means that you're entertaining all the time. So I said, well, this is cool. You understand? And then she said, Keith, I want you to come and work for JMB. And I said, Mommy, well, really and truly, why you want me at JMB? You know, I did my first degree in economics, but why you want me at JMB? Look at all those experienced bankers and all those people out there. You know, and she said, Keith, you're a hustler. You come. I said, I need your kind of skill set. I need your skill set and your kind of drive to move this thing. And I became a trader. You know, a trader has this hustler, entrepreneurial kind of capability, or skill set, or competence. And, you know, of course I want close trades. And of course I want build business. You know what I mean? So I really got into it. And I had Tina Beckford, who was the other trading manager. She trained me up. This was in like 1993, July 1993. JMB was started November 92. And I came on July 93. And we're downtown Ocean Boulevard. One little office, you know, Donna's office, my sister's office, my mother's office, Joan Duncan's office, my mother, my office, and that was it. You know, and then we had, you know, two secretaries outside, and that was it. And we had an attendant, Rose, and my mother's driver, Brenton. And that was JMB to begin with, you know. And, you know, we hustle and we put business on the books. The most important thing, you know, is to know that nothing can stop you, right? So everybody can tell you why is it that you should not be able to grow from being a one office entity to being a regional powerhouse. There's nothing that could tell me that we were not going to be great, because there's nothing that was going to tell me that we were not going to be the largest broker in Jamaica. I wasn't even thinking that, but I know that we're going to grow. And grow, and grow, and grow, and grow, and grow. Because I can't sit there and we don't grow. I can't sit there and just think, okay, this is where we are. Because we have to grow. We have to build. We have to move forward. You know what I mean? So therefore, there's nothing in my mindset that tell me that, okay, I'm satisfied with where we are. Nothing can say, okay, this is where we are, we're comfortable. Because we have to keep moving forward. When we moved into the Dominican Republic, none of us spoke Spanish. You know what I mean? When we say, okay, Dominican Republic looks like a good market. 10 million people, Spanish speaking and underdeveloped market. This is right for us. And we say, but wait, nobody don't speak Spanish. So I found somebody in information technology, Curtis. And I said, Curtis, you know, he did his MBA in Spain. So Curtis, you're the man, you know. You know what I mean? And then we found somebody, we recruited country manager, or just the head of the securities firm, Guillermo Arancibio. Good man. But he's also somebody that's very, very much driven. You know what I mean? And therefore we decided that we're going into the Dom Rep. No other company would say they would just pick up stumps and say we're going into Dom Reps and just open up. But we went in, we don't have no office, we don't have nothing at all. The same thing with Trinidad. We just go in and say, well, we're going to figure this thing out. And we figure it out. and we move forward. And the same thing with Jamaica. We just figure it out step by step, and we're strategic, we understand where we want to go, and we work towards it. But nothing said to us that we couldn't do it. There's not in my mindset or my mother's mindset or my sister's mindset that say we can't be whatever we want to be. So we face challenges along the way, being recognized by the market. But why does JMB have 220,000 clients? That is why JMB is so powerful, The client base, is a client base that gives JMB power. It's a client base that by people have to take us seriously in life. It's a client base why we have to be at the table at any national, in any national dialogue, we have to be at the table. And it's our clients that make us powerful. And we represent our clients. You understand? We are there in the best interest of our clients. And we had to create a value proposition for our clients. We have to be in the world of our clients. We're not just doing business for business sake. We're doing business to meet the needs of our clients in a real way, from the heart. In other words, it comes from the heart. And the culture that we have built and developed comes from the heart. It's a natural thing. So it don't come from anywhere that you need to be like this if you're going to be in business. It comes from the heart, straight from the heart. And when it comes from the heart, it's natural. And when it's natural and you deal with people in that kind of way, like the way my mother dealt in a non-traditional way, which is real, people gravitate to that because they know that you're real. What motivates me is going that extra mile, taking it to the next level.
Growth Tech is making connectivity like oxygen. Wherever you see the Growth Tech free Wi-Fi, feel free to connect. Watch, connect, and go, allowing you to chat, check, browse, and email securely. So when you're on the go and need to connect with friends, family, or a team member, or just stay updated, look for Growth Tech's free Wi-Fi. Growth Tech, making connectivity like oxygen.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV, serious about business.
There's only one recommendation for funding that is ever going to come from me, and that is funding from a bank.
This is the cost to build, and it includes every nail and screw for the building.
Our motto is building communities, building a nation.
Get in the know with the world of real estate with Business Access TV's Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
It's the only show that traces the steps of professionals.
From first and second foremost involved in some club, some activity.
Then gives information on exactly how to get into that same career.
You do need a good grasp of English.
And know you can branch out into whatever area you want to.
Tune in every Tuesday at 8 p.m. for Career Moves and catch up on all our episodes at batvja.com.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
What motivates me is going that extra mile, moving it to the next level. I know what it takes to move it to the next level, but you have to get people mobilized, engaged. You have to have a plan. You have to be able to give people some direction. You have to be able to kind of put, kind of lay that plan out so people can get it and be engaged and buy in and to move forward with it. JMB is a real story. I mean, 23 years old, and for 23 years old to be like a regional powerhouse, it is a hell of a story. That means that we're unstoppable. And I believe we all know it, and we every day that us as team members come to work, we want to move that story forward. It's a matter of, always being able to work it through, articulate it, and move it forward. My wife and my children are very important to me. I have 4 beautiful children and my beautiful wife. And I really enjoy growing my children. I really enjoy every moment with my children. Them get trouble sometimes, but I know that I used to give my mother trouble too. But I enjoy working through every phase of their lives with them, and understanding where their head is, being able to explain and being able to guide and being able to, for them to see it for themselves. I love it, man. So I make time. I make time for my family. I definitely, they're my #1 priority. You understand what I'm saying? JMB is up there about my family and my children and moving them forward and giving them a particular mindset. It's that is very, very rewarding for me, extremely. Outside of spending time with my family, I exercise. I run, and I have an exercise program that is important to me. So I try and find that balance between family, between exercise does settle me down, give me some good feel-good hormones. It really makes me feel good, and so I exercise. I like to run. I just go run for miles. It puts me in a particular mindset, and that's where I get a lot of inspiration while I run and when I exercise. And I would say, because I'm always traveling, I enjoy seeing different cultures. I enjoy seeing different cultures. I enjoy Trinidad. I enjoy the Dominican Republic. You know what I mean? I really do enjoy, really immersing myself in the culture of these people and of various nationalities that I have to work closely with. So I enjoy it. I really enjoy that, and I really enjoy working with people. I really love working with people. Those who know me know what I stand for. I think most people know my heart. They know where I'm coming from. And I'm not afraid to say that is just love. It's all about the love in your heart, because if you walk around with bad feelings in your heart every day and a negativity, all you do is drawing energy from your powerful self, So if you can work to remain in a positive space all the time, positive vibrations, You know, if you can remain positive all the time and don't allow negative vibes to pull you down and to pull you back, you know, that is what people should know about me, that I'm a positive person and I'm moving forward. My legacy is my children, you know. My legacy, I have 3 boys and a beautiful daughter. And that's my legacy, you know. Because when they engage and they represent, they must engage with a level of positivity and love. You understand? So my legacy is my children. Jamie B is my legacy also. I mean, we have worked hard, and it's my mother's legacy, and we have built on it. And I guess that work will go down in history as work that we have done, and that what we have created as a Jamaican company. Because for a Jamaican company to start up and to really accomplish what we have done, I think is I would say we have done something that is out of the ordinary. And so that would be a legacy, but really and truly I want my children to represent my legacy. Wealth is only a means, you know. Wealth is only a means, because wealth don't really make you happy, you know. You know, it's all in the mind, you know. It's all in the mind. Bob Marley said that. It's all in the mind. You know, Bob Marley saying if a man want to drink tea, you know, a man can drink tea, you know. So you can sit down there and suffer if you want, you know. But if you want to drink tea, you can drink tea. That means if you really want to achieve, you can achieve. You understand? People sometimes don't listen to the words of Bob Marley, you know, because maybe him talking too much patois and all them kind of thing, you know. But people really need to listen for the inspirational words of that young man who died at age 36, Robert Nesta Marley. Powerful words. So if a man want to drink tea, a man can drink tea. You understand what I'm saying? So therefore, wealth is only a means, but it's all in the mind. What makes me happy is peace and love, and being in an environment that is positive. Like, I don't think I could work anywhere but JMB, because with the kind of culture that we have created, where everybody is in a positive place. You understand? That is the kind of energy I can work with. I cannot work with negative energy. Negative energy drains me. You understand? Even though I've learned to allow it to be able for it to just bounce off. You understand? But consistently, if I am to work closely with people, I have to work with people who are in a positive place.
Nestled in the city of Montego Bay in St. James is the Open Heart Charitable Mission, which takes care of the homeless and the mentally ill.
Basically, Open Heart Charitable Mission started as a vision for myself in giving back. We came to Montego Bay because we saw the need of the homeless population and situation and the street people program. And after seeing the incident in 1990 when the street persons were trucked to St. Elizabeth and dumped, it weighed heavy on me. And so I had a vision of doing a soup kitchen in Montego Bay. And it has blossomed into more than a soup kitchen now, because we have joined with the St. James Parish Council and signed a memorandum of understanding. So we kind of work together. They supply certain things and we run the program pretty much. under the eyes of the Poor Relief Department and the St. James Parish Council. So we all work together, basically trying to improve the lives of the homeless and street people of St. James, Montego Bay, and also the wider Jamaica. It's very interesting with homeless people. They're well organized, as people may not think. We have had people who have come all the way from Kingston because they have heard of our organization and our program to get into our program. So, they're well organized, they communicate with one another, so they hear the type of service that we have here at Open Heart, and they come, get their meals, they get the services that we offer here, the rehabilitation program, and so they just come. We get referrals from the Poor Relief Department, referrals from the hospital, the Cornwall Regional, and so we try to service. We don't turn anybody away. If you're hungry, even if you're not homeless, we'll try and accommodate something for you, so you'll have something to eat. But we generally do not turn away anyone if they come for food and service. We have a rehabilitation program. Our program is 6 months long, once you have been accepted. And it constitutes, we have a farm up in Seaford Town where we do an agriculture program. We have a farmhouse where the clients live, work there, and we try and give them a little stipend. And that program is really to get them off of the streets in a confined area under structure kind of living, because when they're on the street there's no structure, so we're trying to bring that in their lives. My message basically is that we're one blood. God created us all, right? And take an interest in the street people and homelessness. Take an interest. They're Jamaicans, right? And they need help. They really do need help. The charities around Jamaica really do need help. And a lot of them are doing wonderful work, and there was a saying in Jamaica, it takes cash to care, but it doesn't really take cash to care. It takes compassion, and understand how fortunate you are to be, how blessed you are. But for the grace of God, you're not like them. And just thank God for that. And remember, it could happen to your brother, your sister, your mom, or your dad. And would you want anyone to abuse them like that if they're caught in a situation like that of being on the street? No. And so let's try and be our brother's keeper.
Karon Cameron is the office manager, and she ensures that the clients are given proper care.
Our main goal is to get as much people off the street as possible. So, and the clients look out for each other. So we get a lot of new persons every day. We see new people every day. So when we say, oh, did you hear about us? They'll say, oh, I saw a street person and they said, this is where you have to be. So they look out for each other. If we don't see somebody 2-3 days in a row, we'll say, what happened to Roy? What happened to Bob? And they'll say, oh, somebody hit him and he had to go to the hospital. So if you need to know anything about the clients, you ask a client. I think here really shows you what life is about and actually get you to become humble. So you don't hold on to material things, because we have seen that it don't last. So throughout the years, I have grown to love the people. I see them on the street. Before, honestly, I was afraid of mad people. That's what but no, you can't say mad people. They're mentally ill. So I think that actually helped me to grow as a person. So I see them on the street, they come and hug me up, and they'll be dirty, and I don't care. They come around, and I make sure that they come around and get the shower. So I feel really safe on the street now, and I see them, and I see where they're coming from, and I see where they're going. Because if you don't have a goal for them, and then tell them, this is what I see you're doing, sometimes they just need somebody to just believe in them. So usually what we do, we choose, when we see new clients, we'll say, all right, this is my project. And then we ask them, what are you interested in? And if they're interested in painting, we ask donation and tell them to come down here and paint. We go out and find jobs for them. In the bakeries, on construction sites, we talk to people and we get jobs for them. Even if it's not like permanent, we try and make sure that they're doing something. My message to people that overlook homeless on the street: open your eyes. This can be your brother, your sister, your mother, just laying on the road. So you have to open your eyes. I'm not saying you have to give them money, but even to buy a patty and a box drink, they will appreciate it. So you just have to open your eyes and see them, not just pass them and just cross the street. Just open your eyes.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
We appreciate when people come in and interact with them. I think interaction is the main thing, because as I said, people don't open their eyes and see them on the street.
A corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, products launch, workshop or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357 or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Are back with another exciting, innovative and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well lock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV, serious about business.
The Open Heart charitable mission encourages volunteers to assist in any way possible.
We appreciate when people come in and interact with them. I think interaction is the main thing, because as I said, people don't open their eyes and see them on the street. So when they come here, they expect us to, they're looking forward to us to talk to them, find out how their night was. Something as simple as finding out how their day is going or how their night was makes a big difference to them. So we love when volunteers come here and interact with the clients.
Delroy Denton is a former client at the Open Heart Charitable Mission who now volunteers and mentors the homeless, along with Georgette McNeil, another one of several volunteers.
I heard about them through gathering information, but before you put your head in anything, you need to get as much information as possible. So when I do hear about Open Heart Charitable Mission in Montego Bay, from a friend, I decided I should come here and investigate for myself and see what it is like. And what I did saw, I was impressed. So I decided to be a part of that. Be a part of, like, you know, caring for people, do something charitable, because it's not about money or getting paid, it's about helping people, or, you know, do what you can for people, the most vulnerable, you know, those who are, you know, less unfortunate than us and stuff like that. So, yeah, I was really touched by the mission's goals and objectives.
I do everything. Yeah, I'm a round-the-clock girl. Yes, and I get involved through NODM. It's another part of our organization in Kingston. So feel some time here. Just come here and volunteer. Really, it's good because I don't make anything bothers me. Because we're all human beings, and if you're in something, you have to love it. Honestly, you have to love it. So if you see something in you or somebody you know you can help and assist, give them a bath, make sure they're clean, and, you know, prepare their meals and help them, have fun with them, you know, react with them, you know, see what they're made of. What can you do to change their day? Because some of them don't have a really good day at times, but, you know, by talking to them, they ask you a question, you can answer them, you know, in a different form, and, you know, you don't be arrogant at them. Just be nice to them.
Sometimes when you say you can make another person smile, even when you look at their situation and their circumstances, and you see that you can make them smile, you can make them feel special, you can make them feel wanted, you know, and you have to show them respect and love, because if it doesn't have love, you can't give it to anybody. So when you can make them smile, or you listen to them, you know, listen to the issues that they have, the social issues, and, you know, and you can make a difference by just advising them and encouraging them. It's just a good feeling, not just for myself, but, you know, just see that smile on their face, to know that somebody can reach out to them, somebody who have been there, will know what it is like. You understand me? So I enjoy doing that, because with the Open Charitable Mission, we have a mentoring system going on, and I am their mentor now, you understand me? So I'm doing a mentorship program with them. You know, you sit with them, you talk, you even eat with them. So you make them know, say, boy, it's not them alone I eat the food. You sit down and you eat the same food that they eat. Make them know them worth something, and try to lift their self-esteem. Make them know, say, they are not worthless. All is not gone. There's still hopes. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Because some of them understand that they can listen, because if you reason with them, you come to realize how intelligent they are. Because they have good intellectual ability. But you can know that, or discover that, if you speak to them. Because if you keep shunning them away, you won't learn their fears and concern. So somebody got to do it. Somebody has to do it. You know, because at the end of the day, that's what God wants. Because He gives us this sense of direction. He gives us this knowledge where we can go out. You understand me? And interact with you know, the most vulnerable in our society. Yes, so all people shun them. Sometimes we get angry with them too, to be honest, and say, "You get so much trouble," but we still listen to them. We still feed them. You know, they come and they want a piece of bread. They come late when food finished. They come late with everything. And even though, you know, but we still have to, you know, reach out to them. We still have to feed them. Because we have to look after them. That's what Open Heart Charitable Mission is about. You know, look after those that, you know, vulnerable in society. When everybody turn their back at them, we can't do that. We have to listen to them and help them as much as we can under the circumstances.
As a society, you get more church come together. More business people come together. It's not about you. It's about us. Putting ourselves in their shoe and think, what may happen to me further down the line? You know, you have to place yourself in so many different ways. You know? So at times I think churches, groups, you just have to just put that boundary there to see what really can be done for them.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
When some of these cases comes to my attention, it really placed a great impact on me, knowing that it could be one of mine.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV, prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, Fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands!
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point with Kalila Reynolds and Dennis Chung. Dissecting the issues, offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life runs art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without the customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
The Open Heart Charitable Mission Refuge of Hope Night Shelter is located in Albion, where up to 50 men and 30 women are accommodated. Tamika Whitaker, the shelter manager at Refuge of Hope, oversees the day-to-day running of the shelter. She also monitors the clients at the shelter.
With persons with various personalities and so it can be a challenge. But, you know, with training and stuff to know how to handle conflicts, etc., we care for the mentally ill, persons who are pure homeless. We have deportees from time to time, yes. And being in this organization, Institution, the Refuge of Hope, we do offer a rehabilitation program, yes. So with this rehabilitation program, it does entails we do the chicken rearing, we try to get them to do life skills for reintegration and assimilation into our society. Our rehabilitation program, we do have the chicken rearing, we have sewing, we have a literacy program, and also we do art and crafts. From time to time, we do get referrals from the hospital, we get referrals from the airport. We also care for stranded international visitors. For example, an international visitor would be in Jamaica stranded, don't have enough money, etc. The immigration or the police would refer them here. They stay over until their flights schedule or whatever their situation be resolved and sorted, and then they would go out. What we also do here on a monthly basis, we do an analysis, monthly analysis, to see where a client is at. So I set up a library and encourage a client to read a book. It's important to reading, yes? So what happened, even if the ones that are not literate, you know, and don't have that reading capacity, I encourage them to even look at a magazine. A picture can speak volumes.
The role of farm manager and social worker Cecil Cox is to ensure that everything on the farm is intact and that they produce agricultural produce, which helps to bring in income to help feed the clients both in the streets and in the shelter.
With the farm, we produce so far pigs. Let's make meat for them. We presently have over 90 pigs in all now. We also have goats that we rear, and all of that goes towards feeding. Now we produce bananas, plantain, and we have a few patches of sugar cane that we also use that to give to the pigs. Sometimes the feed are low, so we can use that to help to feed the pigs. We have now put in the ground some corn, sorrel. I have a little area, a little garden around the back of this shelter. Also that we produce callaloo, and I mean vegetable in general, vegetable. We rear chickens, broilers, and layers. Now also that goes to feed the clients. One thing too, we also do this as a form of rehabilitation, because these clients, they are not persons that workable persons and what have you. So when we do this, they work in it for them to understand that, you know, they need to do something, and this will also help them to create job for themselves when they reach a point where they can leave the mission. When some of these cases comes to my attention, it really plays a great impact on me, knowing that it could be one of mine. And because of that, I really give sympathy to them, and somebody need to care for them. Somebody need to care for them. So because of that, sometimes their story might not add up, but there are some form of compassion you need to extend to them. So, you know, it brings a great impact on me with that, knowing that they are human also. If everybody look at, if it was me, if everybody look at if it was me, I would love somebody to have compassion and extend mercy. So I'm looking at many non-governmental persons, the churches, the government in general, and business persons can come together and just look at their lifestyle as human beings and get together and said, okay, those less fortunate children are out there, people are out there, they need something, they need somewhere, they need love. I think it would be better for our society, and we'll have a better country.
Violence is bad. Violence against our innocent little children is terrible. Pretending not to notice when we know or suspect that a child is suffering is awful and morally wrong. In the words of the great Nelson Mandela, there can be no keener realization of a nation's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Think about that for a second. I have a voice. It's one of my gifts. I intend to use it on behalf of our children. No more violence against our children. Make your move to stop violence against our children right now. No more. No more. No more.